It wasn't long before Lexus made more expensive versions of Toyota models. Cars like the early models of the first generation IS, several generations of RX and ES were derivatives of the Altezza, Harrier and Camry respectively. In fact, most models in the current Lexus model range are more expensive versions of Toyota models. The GX is the completely updated and redesigned Prado, and the LX is undeniably the luxurious Land Cruiser 200. FK Tech here. Lexus has worked hard to differentiate its car brand from Toyota. They've even developed a high-performance model along the F-line, a luxury Grand Tourer in the LC500, and even an LFA-equipped supercar. Why is Lexus redesigning the Alphard and calling it the LM? Is it the downfall of luxury car brands? Or could this be their biggest move yet? More to come after driving this LM 350. For the first time in 2018, he realized that Lexus needs to work on the Alphard. Some markets outside of Asia are not familiar with the Alphard or Velfire, but it is a larger utility vehicle or minivan. Originally a car for the Japanese domestic market, for example JDM, Toyota began offering this car in key markets outside the country. Alphard was first launched in 2010. I know because I was there. Laugh out loud. Fun trivia, the same Alphard that Toyota gave us in 2010 was damaged at launch. A support or pipe fell before starting. But while many of us were impressed with the Alphard and wanted to drive it, I was skeptical because no country, no world, was unscathed in last year's global financial crisis. It was a nice, luxurious car, but the timing couldn't be worse. Boy, is the skeptic wrong. In case you haven't noticed, there are a lot of Alphards on our roads. If you go to places where you spend money, like shopping malls, or places that do, like the CBD, you'll be surprised if you don't see Alphard. After all, since 2010 Toyota has sold more than 5,700 Alphard models. It clearly worked. We saw it coming as the US became the #1 market outside of Japan for luxury models like the Toyota Hiace, especially the Super Grandia. There was also the question of whether there was demand for a more luxurious version. Connected to LM. The L and M in the name stand for luxury mover, and it's not hard to see why. At first glance, it is like the third generation Lexus Alphard. It seems to be trend. Headlamps are decidedly more expensive and LED lights are the mainstay, with eye-catching Lexus LED Aero daytime running lights. The grille is, obviously, spindle type and has the same dramatic effect as the LS and LX. Any way you look at it, the grille, the window trims, the lower steps and even the wheels, the car makes full use of chrome. Needless to say, the attention to detail in the grille and wheels is absolutely stunning. The rear has been restyled with a set of side-by-side taillights, which are also found on other Lexus models. The paint is typical of all Lexus. Impressive. The gloss is perfect. You can precisely style your hair while looking at the color. The only downside is that there are only 2 colors to choose from. Black to match either pearl white or aubergine. The driver's door opens and closes satisfactorily. A gentle but strong push will put you in the driver's seat. The dash is basically Alphard with shields for gauges, vents and controls. Lexus has updated many things, including choosing better materials and installing a much better 3-spoke steering wheel. If you're looking for differences, it's the center console that draws the most attention, as Lexus has replaced the Alphard's native 2DIN unit with a much wider multimedia screen. This required moving the center hole to just below the screen. The climate control panel has also been modified and has a different shifter. What is new is the inclusion of an additional Lexus touchpad. To be honest, it's very difficult and useless to use since the screen is already touch sensitive. What is not unreasonable, however, is the audio system. Lexus is known for its Mark Levinson association and speaker setup, but the Alphard, and LM500 perform surprisingly well. Cars aren't usually a great place to listen to audio, but the LM500 speaker system has to be heard to be believed. Listen to a high-quality audio file of a concert, for example, and you'll understand what I mean. But the LM500 isn't just for getting behind the wheel and having fun. It's actually a limousine, and the owner sits in the back instead of driving or sitting in the front. Like the Alphard, this LM300H has premium seats in the middle row as soon as you enter the automatic sliding doors. These are the best seats to sit back, relax, and enjoy driving home. The footrest is more comfortable than the Alphard. From there, you can enjoy a pull-down screen that plays your favorite movies, and there's an electronic sunroof that lets in more light if you prefer. The LM also features aircraft-quality lighting and premium carpeting. This LM is a 7-seater model with 3 rows of seats. These seats can be folded down to expand the cargo space. Without a 7th passenger, the center stack can be folded down and the 3rd row seats can be converted into a pair of captain's chairs, but the front seats are admiral seats. The problem is that this LM is still not the best model. The reason this 7-passenger model trumps the 4-passenger model is that it's a real limousine, with a real wall separating the front seats from the much more luxurious ones in the back. Yes, this 4-seater model has a massage chair. The LM300H is powered by a 3.5-liter V6 engine. Yes, it's like Alphard. It produces 296 horsepower at 6,600 RPM. It offers 361 Newton-meters of torque from 4,600 to 4,700 RPM, direct and port injection, dual VVTi, and more. Have such skills. The engine is mated to 8-speed front-wheel drive. To be honest, I didn't have high expectations for the LM300H, but I was pleasantly surprised. Yes, it would be nice to have a driver, but the LM moves smoothly and has decent power, so it could be better. There was also a huge discrepancy between official claims that the LM350 could hit 0 to 100 km per hour in 7.0 seconds. When I ran with the performance meter on, the best the LM350 could do was 10.48 seconds. The problem with the LM is the weight. The car already pushes 2.7 tons, gross, and an engine with more low-end torque is certainly a nice addition. Lexus wouldn't have considered a high-torque diesel engine for this loud and noisy model, but we think Lexus should have used the LM300H hybrid engine to compensate, especially when it comes to fuel economy. Even with the start-stop system enabled to save fuel, the LM300H managed 6.1 kmpl at an average speed of 21 km per hour. However, acceleration and fuel economy aren't quite high on the list of priorities for LM300J customers. Comfort is what matters, and that's something the LM mostly has. The suspension is miles ahead of the Alphard. To be honest, the ride comfort of the Alphard is not as good as I thought, and I was expecting more. However, LM increases this significantly. If you go over a hill, it just soaks up. This is the LM's redesigned suspension system. When you drive diagonally over the parking ramp, there is no squeak. Lexus actually improved the LM monocoque. The steering is not as expected, but the braking is excellent. But the best thing about LM is the silence. On asphalt at a speed of 60 km per hour, the interior noise level was 58.1 dB. Specifically, this increases slightly to 64 dB at the same speed. It's really quiet. The noise of a motorcycle with the exhaust ports open is no problem inside. Looks like it's in storage. Many features, especially the power function, add weight, but the noise reduction is less obvious. Glass is a type of double glazing. As a result, much less noise enters the cabin. Lexus didn't say exactly where they put the extra soundproofing, but if I had known, I would have guessed they would have put it all over the place. Then focus on security. Of course, it has all the features we've come to expect from a Lexus: stability control, traction control, tire pressure monitoring, direction monitoring headlights and airbags that inflate fast enough to rival a kid's party. Trick is Lexus Plus safety system. Rear cross-traffic alert with pre-collision, lane detection, blind spot monitoring, braking and adaptive cruise control are standard. Yes, the Lexus LM300H is impressive. Whether behind the wheel or behind the wheel, there is no doubt that this is a great car. Whether you prefer quiet or want to feel like you're at the Royal Albert Hall, we're here to help. Different from this one. The SRP of the 7-seater LM300H is approximately $40K. More importantly, I see the LM as a learning experience for Lexus. In the past few years, Lexus has taken Toyota models and radically improved them, eventually designing and developing their own complete models against comparable Toyotas. So what we see here could be the beginning of the future of Lexus and luxury minivans. If so, are there things I would like to see improved and added? First, car customers like LM will see some exotic upgrades. It does not mean multimedia or location updates. I'm talking about vehicle armor. As the Lexus LM does, I doubt customers would handle the extra weight well if they opted for a higher level of ballistic protection, i.e. level 6 or 7. As good as the V6 is, it can be pushed to its limits if the car is carrying hundreds of pounds of armor. Having more power and torque would be very useful, but it comes from a smaller turbo engine, not a bigger one. I think Lexus should have introduced the downsized turbo earlier. It may have stuck with the 3.5-liter V6 and other larger naturally aspirated engines for too long, and many competitors in the premium car segment have moved to smaller engines. Perhaps fueled by the Dieselgate issue, many German brands are putting more resources into turbocharged gasoline 4-cylinders that can produce similar power to a big, non-turbo V6 but deliver much better fuel economy and better torque at low revs and much lower emissions. Some would argue that LM customers won't care about emissions, fuel economy or climate change, but now I'd argue that they really should.